So the 17th Amendment was the one that basically had a significant impact on our federal system, meaning that system of division of responsibilities between the national government and the state government. Because up until the 17th Amendment, the state legislators were the ones responsible for electing the state senators that went to the national House of Congress, where the senators were the other house opposed or on the opposite end of Congress from the House of Representatives. And when they had only a popular vote now, this changed things a lot in terms of the duties of the senators to protect the state's rights. That is, the limitation of the federal government encroaching upon those powers under the 10th Amendment, which were reserved to the states. But we significantly lost a lot of power to the federal government because of the change that took place in the 17th Amendment. All of those, that is the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, and all of those occurred in what is called the Progressive Era. And I can't say that the Progressive Era isn't still with us, because it is. But that part of that period of time from 1912, things began to accelerate in terms of the growth of the federal government and the areas of our lives where it encroaches upon our individual freedoms faster than any other time in our history.
And my opinion about why it is the Fed actually, when they put in the 16th, they quit, the states quit supporting the government, the federal government. And now the Federal Reserve did. And so we cut off the state's power to actually influence what was going on.
Yeah, that's true. When Congress has an unlimited source of money that they can borrow from the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve really doesn't have any skin in the game, they just print the money and there's nothing really backing it, then there's no limit to government power of additional programs, and they will not be held accountable to the people that are taxed, because the people don't see it as a tax because they just pay for it at the gas station, at the grocery store, and at the various places where they shop for goods and services. So anyway, 17th Amendment, we want people to be well aware of the things that were originally included in the Constitution so they can protect us and protect our individual rights. Be aware of the checks and balances. Be aware of that there are people who are trying to grab power by encroaching upon powers of other branches of government, or taking away from states' powers, or ultimately robbing the individual from having powers and rights that are provided by our Creator. And so to the extent that they disregard the Constitution, we need to have a group of people who are educated and prepared, because unless we are prepared and educated, we cannot protect against this. That's one of the things that's fundamental to what we're teaching, and what we're hoping that those people attending this class will be motivated and inspired to go and influence the others that they are able to influence by becoming teachers where they are helping in the education of our youth. A primary object should be the education of our youth in the science of government. As you've listened to these 5 classes, you have a really good idea of what the science of government is. You have to recognize that we as human beings have a desire to be free, but at the same time there is a pull that will allow someone to want to use the production and labor of somebody else to make their life easier without their own efforts. And so that needs to be restrained, and it's restrained by the rule of law. And law can only be protected if we know what the limits are that the law provides, which is the supreme law of the land. So what duty more pressing than communicating the science of government to those who are to be the future guardians of the liberties of our country? That's a quote from our founder of this country, the first president, the father of our nation, George Washington. Education, how important is it? Well, it really is the foundation for our freedom, because we cannot be free unless we know what our freedoms are. In other words, we have to look to the source of all of our rights, which is our Creator, and we have to make sure that we understand that the role of government is the protection and preservation of those freedoms. Education empowers us, so we want you to study the Constitution. We will save our Constitution. That's the purpose of our classes. We invite everyone to help and participate, and let's keep a good thing going.